Okay, guys, so you have the key to the review. The review actually isn't all that bad. There were a couple big ticket items that I noticed a lot of in the past. I've noticed a lot of students have trouble on these few ones. So in the very beginning, I want to look at number one, number two, and then I'll jump a little bit forward here. But so number one, it gives us these four histograms, and then it asks us which one has the largest IQR. When we see the terms largest IQR, remember IQR measures the spread, measures the variability in it. And so a large IQR, that would be like thinking back to the two players in the team, the larger IQR would mean the more spread out the data are. So if we look down here, which one has the largest IQR? Another way to think of it is, remember IQR is the middle 50% of the data. So if we look at this one, let's say the symmetric one, if I had to like say start in the middle and kind of open up my hands to kind of capture the middle 50% of the data, I would probably only have to open my hands maybe that far, and that's it. Most of the data is already there. Most of the data is already in the center. So if I just spread my hands a little bit, I get most of the data. Now here though, a lot of the data is missing. It's mostly on the sides. So to catch 50% of it, I'll have to spread my hands out a lot further. So I'll have to go way out here to make sure I catch 50% of the data. So because this data is so spread out like this, it's kind of pushed out towards the extremes, this data is going to have a much larger IQR than this one, and either of these. So in this case, the largest IQR would be right here, number 4. And then the next one asks the largest median, and this is a little bit interesting because when we see the histogram, we kind of forget what the histogram means. And if you remember, across the bottom, there's a scale of numbers going from, I don't know, from 0, say, all the way to, let's say, 100 or so. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be 0 to 100, but there's numbers that are counting up. And remember, each one of these bars, it's like we called it a bin, and it was kind of like a category. You know, from like 0 to 10 was this bar, and then 10 to 20 was this bar, and 20 to 30 or whatever it is. And then the height of the bar was how many people fit in that range. And so if we want to look at the different medians here, if we wanted to kind of draw in the different medians, in this one, in the symmetric data, remember the median was right in the middle. The median would be right here in the middle. So as far as how big is that median, it would be, you know, if this is 0 and this is the highest number, whatever it is, it'd be right in the middle of those numbers. This median over here would probably also be right about in the middle, so probably right about here, give or take, right in the center. About half the data is over here, half's over here. Now these are where it gets interesting. With the symmetric data, if I cut it right down the middle, I get half and half. With the skewed data, if I cut this right down the middle, well, there's a lot more on this side than there is on this side. So I can't cut it right down the middle. I have to kind of scooch over a little bit, and I gotta get closer to the bump, to the kind of the high point of the graph. So the median here might be right about here somewhere, give or take. So half the data is on this side, half's on this side. And then this one might be about over here somewhere. So half the data is over here, half the data is over here. So when I look at the largest median, thinking about this number line going across the bottom of each one of these, the larger the number, the smaller numbers on the left, the larger numbers on the right. So another way to ask the question, which is the largest median? Well, which median is the furthest to the right? Because that's the larger numbers. And the largest median would be that one, because that one has most of the data is pushed over to the right because it's skewed left. Most of the data is over on this side, so the median would be right over here, way over to the right. So the largest median would be number 1. Let's go ahead and stop right there for now.